Barak Yahawah, Bashim Yahawashi, Bashim Rawchaa Qadash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is When the Oil Is Not in You, the Lights Go Out. And pretty much this is a title that something the Elder Apostle said in one of the videos he did. And he had mentioned that, I'm not sure if it was the video where you had the IUIC members that were posted up near the oil change place. I believe that might have been when he said this, but he said when the oil is not in you, the lights go out. So I thought that was a very good title for a lesson. So I wrote it down a couple of days ago, and I'm getting around to it now. So we're going to explore mainly Matthew the 25th chapter, which is a parable spoken by Yahawashi. Let's just start off with that. The parable definition. A simple story used to illustrate a moral or spiritual lesson as told by Yahawashi in the Gospels. All right. So it's a simple story used to illustrate a moral or spiritual truth. And the scriptures spoke about Yahawashi when he came on the scene, right, that he would be speaking parables. This is Psalms 49:1. Hear this, all ye people, give ear, all ye inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together. My mouth shall speak of wisdom, and the meditation of my heart shall be of understanding. I will incline mine ear to a parable. I will open my mouth. I will open my dark sayings upon the harp. All right, and the only ones that are going to receive the message are the ones that have the oil in them, which are the elect. So the Lord said he will incline his ear to a parable and will open my dark saying upon the harp. And the harp is a representation of a musical instrument, which is a representation of music, which is this song that we're singing. You could, the song of Moses, the new song, which we speak about today, which pretty much is the new song. I believe that's either Revelation, the 14th chapter, or the 15th chapter. And it says that no man can learn the song but the 144,000. Now the elect out there, both men and women, that are, because you're going to have certain men that are going to be helps, that are going to, have certain, that are not going to be teaching out there, because not every individual is a teacher. But if you have the ability to teach, don't use the excuse, well, I'm not really a teacher, so I'm not going to teach. No, if you have the ability to teach, then teach. Don't be that napkin brother. But you do have some individuals out there, like the Apostle Paul mentioned, the great cloud of witnesses. And the great cloud of witnesses were both men and women that believed, and not every, definitely not the women. The women will teach other women, their children, their daughters, so on and so forth. But for the most part, the teachers are men. As the Lord said, the flock of my pasture are men. And the Apostle Paul directed Timothy, we'll get back to this. The Apostle Paul directed Timothy to preach and teach men that will be able to teach other men also. This is 2 Timothy 2, I think it's 3. Is it 2? Nope, it's 2 and 1. Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Yahawashi HaMashiach, which the grace is what? That liberty, or the space of repentance that's given to us, or the time that's given to us to turn back to the Lord to receive his mercies. And the thing that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, see, you're always going to have witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. Because the thing is, Yahawashi said, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. And the more laborers that are in the field, the less of a load falls on the ones that are already working. That's why Yahawashi said, pray to the Father, that he send laborers into his vineyard. So if you're in the vineyard, you're supposed to be working, constantly working. There was a dream, which I believe was a vision that a brother had years ago. I'm not sure who it was. They had mentioned how you had a house. And you had, I'm not sure if he mentioned Zabak and HOI, them brothers. I'm not sure if he He mentioned them, or it was another group. But he said that they were working, but they were taking breaks. They were sitting down, the work was getting done, but it was progressing very slowly. Then he said when he saw the house that Great Millstone was working in, everybody was busy. Nobody was sitting down. Nobody was taking breaks. Nobody was eating lunch. Everybody was busy. And that's why you have to have faithful men to teach this word, because there's a lot of work to be done. There's plenty of work to be done, but not enough laborers. And even among the laborers, you have those slothful, you have those, those napkin holders, the napkin brothers, you have the bullshit artists, you have the lukewarm individuals that are not, putting their best foot forward, so to speak, and pretty much bullshitting. So that's why the Apostle Paul said that commit these things to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. When the apostles had to stop the ministry for a hot minute because of the situation that was going on between the Hebrews and the Grecians, which were Israelites, that were the Grecians, which were the Israelites that spoke Greek, were being neglected. Their widows were being neglected. They had to stop for a minute, to rectify the situation, because you had Jake back then that were showing favor to the ones that spoke Hebrew, but not showing favor to the ones that spoke Greek. They were neglecting them. So the Apostle Peter had to get down with the other apostles and set up a council and find faithful men that had a good report among the people to set up and establish over that business, because their business was to do what? To teach the word. Not to, not to serve on tables, not to be sitting there, divvying out what the different widows needed. So they found, Stephen, and 6 others, which is 7 altogether, that were men of reputation, men that had a good report, that were faithful men, that they were able to put over that business. So when you're teaching this word, the Lord, the Apostle Paul told Timothy to make sure that when you're teaching this, find men that are worthy, that are faithful, that you can teach, that will be able to teach others also. Because at the end of the day, there's plenty of work to be done. There should be no idle hands. Everybody should be working. That doesn't mean that, you don't have downtime where you just chill sometimes, because you have to have that. We're in the flesh. If you're just constantly going 24/7, you're going to eventually drop. So you do have to have your moments of reprieve, where you let your hair down, so to speak, and do what you like to do. Everybody doesn't get pleasure from sports. Everybody doesn't get pleasure from music. Everybody doesn't get pleasure from watching, movies or whatever the case may be. So you find what your pleasure is, so to speak, and then, every once in a while, you might just chill out, and just do that. Some brothers like to, listen to jazz music and sip a little yayan or something like that. Some brothers like to watch boxing, or they like to watch basketball. There's nothing wrong with that, but just as long as that doesn't consume your time, as long as the work is being done, then there's nothing wrong with that. Otherwise, if you become too over righteous, as the scripture says, you're gonna destroy yourself. All right, so you have to have that, or find that perfect balance in your life, to deal with this, because this truth can be overwhelming at times. And those are just facts, So, moving along, let's go back here. Psalms 49:4. I will incline my ear to a parable. I will open my dark sayings upon the harp. So the Lord is making manifest his dark sayings, which are the parables. Parables, as we read the definition here, a parable is a simple story used to illustrate a moral or spiritual lesson. It's pretty much like a riddle. You're using like a storyline to convey a message, but it's a hidden message. And that's why Yahawashi spoke to the masses in parables, because the majority of Jake is not going to get this. In America, 2/3 are not going to get it. Only 1/3. I don't care what Alizar says. This is the book of Matthew 13:9, who hath ears to hear, let him hear. So he spoke a parable to the people. He didn't explain to them what it was. He just spoke a parable. He gave like a riddle. And then the disciples were a little perturbed because they were like, why are you speaking to them in parables? Right? And I want to get that word parable in Psalms 49 also. Let me get that real quick and then come back to this because I want to look it up in the Old Testament and the New Testament. Psalms 49:4. The word for parable is the word mashal, which means proverb, parable, proverbial saying. See, a proverbial saying, aphorism. I've seen this word before. I'm sure I looked it up, but I don't remember what it means. A pithy observation that contains a general truth, such as, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And that's, pretty much what a parable is. It's like a riddle. It could be a short riddle or it could be a long riddle. All right? Byword, similitude, parable, right? A poem, right? Sentences of ethical wisdom, right? Because you can speak a parable in a wise way. Some will pick up on it, some won't. This is why Yahawashi always said, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear. All right, so you get the idea. So going back over here, Matthew 13:10, and the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? So let's see what the word parables is in the New Testament. The word is parabole, a placing of one thing by the side of another, juxtaposition as of ships in battle. So pretty much paralleling one story, in a form of a mystery. So in other words, you're speaking about the kingdom of heaven, but you're using different symbolisms. You might be using a tree or a branch or a leaf or a stone or the earth, or birds or the weather. Yahawashi used many different basic everyday things, simple everyday things to portray these parables. He spoke very, very blunt. It was very easy to understand what he was saying, although everybody didn't understand what he was saying. He spoke about rocks and trees and twigs and limbs and roots, and fruit, basic everyday things to bring out or speak these parables. All right, it says metaphorically a comparison of one thing with another, likeness, similitude, right? That's why he would mention about the weather, or about a tree without fruit, so on and so forth. And we're going to get to the main scripture. Let me just pull it up just to hold it on deck. And then there's another one that I was thinking about earlier. Just bear with me. Okay, let's go. Now, and the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. That's why in Psalms 49, it mentioned, I will incline mine ear to a parable. I will open my dark sayings upon the harp. And the only ones that are going to get the dark sayings are the elect. This is why Yahawashi said, my sheep hear my voice and they follow me. All right, so moving back to Matthew 13:12, whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. Why? Because he will constantly grow. He will get the knowledge, he will have the oil, and that will constantly grow. It will not be stagnant. All right, because his land is fruitful. This is what Yahawashi was speaking about, the parable of the sower seed, prior to breaking this down. And he just gave a parable, and then later on he explained it to his disciples what the parable meant. It was a 4-part parable. It was 4 different individuals that either come into the truth or hear the word. All right, those by the wayside, those that got choked among the thorns and so on and so forth. And then you had those that fell upon good ground, because this word is the seed. The word of Yahawah by Shemael is a seed, and our minds is the ground. That's why the Apostle Paul said, Paul planted, Apollos watered, but the Most High gave the increase. So if you're a part of the elect and you have that oil in you, then the Lord is going to, once that seed is planted, he's going to cause it to grow. He's going to nurture it and water it so that it can grow and grow and grow, so that you can be, one of his teachers. It says, but whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath. And that's dealing with an individual that comes into the knowledge. He learns the scriptures, usually pretty fast, and then he has no root, and the Lord gets rid of him. But guess what? That knowledge that he has that's taken from him is given to another man. You see? Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they see and see not, and hear and they hear not, neither do they understand. Why? Because it's not given to them. And this goes back to, the scriptures where it speaks about, the Lord blinded certain Israelites because he doesn't want them to get this knowledge. Because if they got it and understood it, they will have to convert, meaning turn back to the Lord, and he will have to heal them, meaning deliver them. He's not going to deliver all of Israel in this time. This is why you have the 1/3 and the 2/3 here in America. The 1/3 is going to get it, and they're going to be delivered, and the 2/3 are not going to get it, and they're going to be destroyed. Bottom line. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, by hearing you shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing you shall see, and shall not perceive. That's why Yahawashi mentioned, he spoke of, man, it's just escaped my mind. Just lock it for a minute. Let me see if it'll come back. Right, man, there was something that just came to mind. Let me just read this again, see if it'll come back. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, by hearing you shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing you shall see, and shall not perceive. There was something that came to mind. It was good precept too. Just that quick. Well, you know what? Well, let's continue on. And Lord's will, if it comes back, I'll grab it. Rawchaa. I know it's in St. John. I'm not sure if it's 14, 15, or 16. Let me see. I mean, this is good right here, the point right here, but there's something else. Okay, so let me read some of this here. St. John 14:23. Yahawashi answered and said unto him, if a man love me, he will keep my words, and my Father will love him, and we will come unto him and make our abode with him. Right. So it says, my sheep hear my voice. And there's another one about knocking. Knock, if you open up. Let me see if the word open up. Let me see. Let me try opens up. Nope. Let me try open up. trying to think of the phrase. Nope, that's not it either. It's all right. He that loveth me not keepeth not my saying. See, and the word which ye hear is not mine, but the Father's which sent me. Right, and we say that the words that we teach are not ours, but Yahawah B'Shem Yahawashi. That's good. So let's go back up here. Verse 17. Even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it seeth him not, neither knoweth him. But you know him, for he dwelleth with you and shall be in you. Right. So if he dwelleth with you and shall be in you, meaning you're going to have that oil. Let me try the word. One more word. That's not it either. All right. So let's move on. So Matthew 13:15 now. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed. He said, any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears and should understand with their heart and should be converted, and I should heal them. Right. Because the Lord will have to save them, because that's the way that the Lord set it up. All right. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear, right? Because you have the oil in you. That's what he's telling his disciples. For verily I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which you see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear, and have not heard them, right? Because although the disciples were the prophets in the past, when they got the visions in the past, they didn't understand the visions. But in this time, when Yahawashi was there, they understood more than the prophets before them. You see? Because they were the prophets coming back, and this time the Lord gave them a little more understanding, but they still didn't know everything. Matter of fact, I think this might be it, brother. The water. Revelation 3:20, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Beautiful, that's it. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me, right? So how do you know if you are, if you hear the voice? Well, if you have the understanding, then that means that you're in tune with the voice. And Elder Apostle Gabar years ago went into that word sup, which means to share in Yahawashi's most intimate, thoughts. Let me get that real quick. That's, going into the esoteric or the secretive, as we read in the book of Psalms, the 19th chapter, the 49th chapter, where he will open his dark sayings upon the harp. So that was 20, right? Sup. Let's look up the word sup. Because there's a path. That's why in this time, as I said in the lesson earlier, in this time, you have a lot of false prophets out there, even among the Israelites. So it's going to be harder to navigate in this thing, because if you're not a part of the elect, you're going to get caught up in one of those traps. But if you're a part of the elect, the Lord, you're blessed, because the Lord is going to guide you through those steps, through that maze, to get to his word, because you're going to follow his word. Remember, they followed the Lamb whithersoever he went. So the word there is dipeneho, to sup. Principal meal, sup. Right here. I will make him to share in my most intimate and blissful intercourse. Right. So this is what? The true understanding of this word. And that's true love, man. Out of all of these false doctrines that are out here, for Yahawah Bashem Yahawashi to be able to guide us, through that maze, and to get to him and to truly understand the true truth is a blessing, man. It's unspeakable. Because any of us could have fallen into any of that other crap, and many of us were, in different, mindsets prior to the truth. But the Lord cleaned us up, brought us in, and allowed us to sup with him, and Barak Yahawah Bashem Yahawashi for that, and may he continue to guide and protect us and sup with us all the way to the end and deliver us. So going back here, so pretty much we got the point there on Matthew 13. So let's go to the main scripture in Matthew 25, which this is Apostle Tar's favorite parable. Parable of the 10 virgins. It says, then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps. The 10 virgins represent 10, doesn't necessarily have to mean 10, but basically it represents men that are brought into the truth. The lamps, represent the themselves. The lamp is that individual, the individual's body, in their mind, and went forth to meet the bridegroom. The bridegroom is Yahawashi. All right, and this world, as we're going to read further down, this world is in total darkness. It's midnight out here, understanding wise to the majority of people out here, but the elect have the light, and they're able to maneuver through that maze of darkness in this world. Matter of fact, let's go to Proverbs. Is one of my favorites. Proverbs chapter 4 and 18. It says, but the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. Right, because Yahawashi is that shining light, and he's guiding us to him. Right. Right here, verse 19. The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble. So you're going to have individuals that come into this thing learn that they're Israelites, and they're going to stumble across Deacon Jessup. They're going to stumble across the false teachings of Bishop Nathaniel, the hell doctrine, and, the MOTB is not the micro C hip. They're going to stumble across the fake doctrine of General Yohana, that the MOTB is an embargo. Some are going to come across other groups that are teaching wayward doctrines. Some are going to get caught up in the Sakari thing. You have all type of traps out there. But if you are definitely and truly a part of the elect, the Lord is going to guide you down the path to the true truth. All right. And, we here at Great Millstone believe we have the true truth, and it's not to brag or boast. It's just to tell, it's just the truth, There's no gimmicks here. It's just straight facts, straight truth, none of that other, gimmicks bullshit. All right. So going back, Matthew 25:2, and 5 of them were wise and 5 were foolish. So basically the ratio was a 50-50 ratio that you have, basically you're going to have your righteous or your wise virgins, and you're going to have your foolish virgins, because the Apostle Paul said it best. And also, let me get this one, 2 Corinthians 11, and then let me get Revelation, I believe that's 14, or is that 15? Yep, okay, so let me just hold on to this one. Go back. 2 Corinthians 11 and 2. For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, dealing with Yahawashi, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Yahawashi. So the men that are coming into this thing that are free from all of the corruption of these false doctrines out here, they are the ones that the Lord is guiding. Those are the virgins. All right, because remember it says that in whose mouth was no guile found, because these bodies are corrupt. It's what comes out. It's Yahawashi says, not what enters into a man that defiles him, but what comes out of him. Because from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. All right, so going to the next one, in Revelation 14:4, these are they which are not defiled with women, meaning these false philosophies, plantation Christianity / Renaissance Christianity / the madness that's going on in Israel now with these different wayward philosophies. For they are virgins. Doesn't mean that they never had sex with them. This is not what this is talking about. This is talking about virgins as far as not being mingled in with the false philosophies of this world. It has nothing to do with being a physical virgin. It says, these are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. Right, because why? The Lamb will guide them whithersoever they go. And they will hear his voice and follow him, because they have the oil in their lamps to be able to illuminate their steps to get to the Lord. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto the Most High, unto the Lamb. Right, because you have to have the governing body, which is the government of Israel. HODC says, the Mashara Yasha'Allah, which that means the government of Israel, which is true. There is a government of Israel. But the government of Israel is Yahawashi, the 144,000, and then the rest of Israel after that, which the judges are going to be men, not women. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them, and that's the point. They took the lamps, but they didn't take any oil, so they don't have any oil in them. So let's look up the word oil. Let's get this other precept. What is that? Proverbs 21. Cool. So let's go back. Elio or Elayon. Olive oil for fuel for lamps, for healing the sick. Yeah. And there's I was looking at this I don't know if it's going to come up or not. There was a page I was looking up. Right. What are the side effects of not eating oil? If you don't get enough fat in your diet, you may notice symptoms such as dry rashes, hair loss, a weaker immune system, and issues related to vitamin deficiencies. All right. So if you don't have this oil, the right oil in you, then you're going to suffer those things spiritually. For anointing the head and the body at feast, mentioned among articles of commerce. Right. So what's that? Matthew 25. Damn. There's another precept that came to mind, but it kind of slipped my mind. Let me just go back to that. Let me see if it'll come back. Healing the sick. Oh, Barak Yahawah Yahawashi. Let's go from there to the book of 1 John. 1 John chapter 2 and verse 20. It says, but you have an unction from the Holy One, and you know all things. An unction is an anointing. So you have the oil in you from the Holy One, right? And you know all things, because knowing all things is what? Having 100% truth. Now, does that know we know everything? Like as far as, the weight of the earth and what's out in the furthest part of the galaxy? No, we know what's needed to be known on the earth to lead us to salvation. That's pretty much what knowing all means. So going to Proverbs, because they said that these foolish virgins took no oil. Proverbs 21 and 20. There is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up. So the foolish spent it up. They didn't have enough oil. They didn't take the oil with them. Just curious what the word oil here should be shaman. Yep, shaman. I remember years ago I tried to give that name shaman to another brother, because we have a pre-shaman in the main camp, which means oil. But I remember years ago somebody asked me for a name. I told them shaman, and it means oil. They said no, because it sounds like shaman, So I said, all right, well, you pick your own name then. Fat, oil, fatness, right? Because you need good fats. We need good fats in our diet. Because it helps lubrication, it helps with digestion, immune system, it helps with the brain. It has a lot of benefits to it. All right. So let's go back to Matthew 25. 3, they that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them, but the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. So from the foundation of the earth, the elect and the non-elect were both sealed. While the bridegroom tarried, because Yahawashi went back into the spirit world, 2,000 years ago, and he said, I must work the work of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh and no man can work. So the night came pretty much after Yahawashi went back into the spirit world, and the apostles and the teachers back then, all passed, and eventually there was a darkness over the earth when it came to the truth. And it wasn't until 1969 when the truth that is being taught right now of the Hebrew Israelites started to emerge back on the earth. That was the oil being brought back. It says, while the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight, there was a cry made. What was a cry made? The Lord comes. Prepare yourself. Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. And through Elder Abba Bivens and High Priest Ariah, which are the two main scriptural teachers, because King Masha and High Priest Yaakov also was a scriptural teacher. But the breakdowns, the understanding came, the awakening came from through the Spirit, through Elder Abba Bivens, and the breakdowns of the prophecies and the main scriptures came from High Priest Ariah through the Spirit and power of Yahawah by Shemahushai. So there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. So when you, in midnight, meaning in total darkness, you got to go outside. But if you go outside, you have to take some type of light with you. Right? Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps, meaning they went to turn the lamps on. Let's look up this word trimmed. The The word there is cosmeo, which is where you get the word cosmos from, which is an arrangement. All right. You get the word cosmetics also. All right. It's an arrangement, an organization. See, it goes back to the word cosmos. Cosmeo, to put in order, arrange, make ready, prepare, to ornament, adorn, metaphorically to embellish with honor, gain honor. So pretty much they trimmed the lamps on, and the lamps came on, right? So it says, then all those virgins, both the wise and the foolish, arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are going out. Right. And this is those individuals that come around. They've been talking shit all these years, been scoffers. Then they coming around trying to get, oil from the wise virgins. And there ain't enough oil for everybody. But the wise answer saying, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. Right, you better go humble yourself before Yahawah Bashem Yahawashi, that he'll give you the understanding and give you some oil if you happen to be a part of the elect. But if you're not a part of the elect, guess what? You ain't going to have the oil. So when the oil's out, or when the oil's not in you, the lights go out. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Right, because when Yahawashi comes, he's coming to get his elect, and the rest are just going to be destroyed. Just see him in the kingdom. Because they're going to be in total darkness. So before I read any more, let's go real quick to Matthew 6. And I'll start at 21. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So if your mind is all caught up into working all the time, all you're trying to do is just work, stack money. Well, guess what? When you start speaking, to anyone, what's going to come out your mouth is what? Your most deepest desire, which is what? Making money. You hear Jake out there making money, or bitches, or whatever the case may be. Whatever, you could have somebody that looks like a wise man, but the scriptures say don't commend him until you hear him speak. Because once you hear him speak and you hear the words that come out of his mouth, you know what type of man you're dealing with. Because they're going to speak according to the abundance of their heart. Like, every once in a while I mention this, there was an individual years ago that used to come around. He was an older gentleman. He used to come around to the speakings. We were out there speaking in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And he was like, yeah, I get him with these two scriptures. I get them with, in that day, 7 women shall take over 1 man, and money. Money is a defense. So pretty much his whole thought pattern and his whole mindset and everything that he does was all about women and money. You see? So where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. The light of the body is the eye, which is your spirit. If therefore thine eye be single, meaning you're concentrating on one thing. This is why further down it says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things shall be added unto thee. Because the Lord knows what we need. And he's going to provide that for us in due time, in the right time. So if therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. And that'll be, the illumination of the truth. You got Ephesians chapter 1, I believe is 18. The understanding being enlightened or something like that. Then you have Barak chapter 4, being illuminated. And I believe there's one in Hebrews chapter 10. After you have been illuminated, that's what this truth. Your whole body is going to be full of light. You're going to be able to see. But if thine eye be evil, meaning you're into everything. You're half your ass is in the world, half your ass is in the truth. You're straddling the fence. You're undecisive. You don't know if you want to serve the Lord or if you want to, serve mammon. It says, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee, the little bit of light that you did have, if it's in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? Yeah, because you're going to be out in utter darkness. Back in Matthew 25 and 10, and while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, verily I say unto you, I know you not. That's why it says, not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but they that have done the will of my Father. Yeah, that's it right there, the water, bro. Ecclesiastes 27:7. Praise no man before thou hearest him speak, for this is the trial of all men. Right, so going back, Matthew 25:13. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. And the Lord pretty much gave us, what to look for. He gave us signs to look for, that he was fast approaching, that he was, on his way. All right, and we see all of the signs playing out, especially the main sign that these false prophets are up in arms and angry about, which is the MOTB being the micro C here being pushed out in the world, showing you that it's a system into where you have to be a part of the system in order to be able to buy or sell. And that's the thing that kills them. That's why for years they would not touch the 17th verse. They'll go to the 15th verse, talk about the image was a picture of Caesar Borgia, which is not. The image is pretty much the ancient Roman Empire system being established again here in America through their government, through their senators, the way that they officiate their laws, the way that they pick their presidents, the way that they set up their Congress, so on and so forth. That's the image of the beast. Right, then they'll go to the MARK, right, the MOTB, but then they would not even touch the 17th verse, and if they did, they would just read through it, just like they do Deuteronomy 22 and 29. They read right through it. They don't even touch it. They don't even break it down. And as we speak, today is April 25th, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. I mean, the receipts on the MOTB are everywhere, and they're showing you that if you commit any infraction in this system, you will be cut out. It's pretty much a credit score system, a credit system, And if you don't comply with the rules, guess what? You'll get certain things taken away. You'll have restrictions to your account. You won't be able to purchase. You won't be able to buy or sell. And that's what the whole MOTB system is all about, which we see happening all over the world. And these individuals are still fighting, but no, it's not. That's not the MOTB. That's not the mark of the beast. They'll tell you. But it's coming out, and it's been coming out. We've had the same position that we've had going all the way back, even before the YouTube era, even before 2007, and it's not going to change. And you see it unfolding, and that's why these false prophets are scrambling, trying to save face, So anyway, with that, I pray that you brothers and sisters have been edified. I pray that this was an edifying lesson, and to the next time I say shalom.